And I'm Lindsay.
And this is the Game Forum. Today we're going to be talking about the future of movie theaters.
All right, to start off, due to the coronavirus, pretty much all movie theaters have had to be closed down. And this has been going on for several weeks, getting into several months now. These movie theater chains don't have the cash on hand to pay their bills with no new people coming in to watch any movies. They have no ticket sales right now, but they still have to pay for keeping all their theaters open. This includes, the mortgages on the buildings, the power bills, all this kind of stuff. They still have to keep paying these debts, but they don't have a way to generate any revenue. Currently, to look at one of them, AMC, which is America's largest movie chain, only has $265 million in cash, and they have access to $332 million in credit. And it costs them around $155 million a month to stay open. This means that they only have around 3 to 4 months that they can stay open before having to file for bankruptcy and being in extreme debt. So if we don't reopen the economy soon, this could force all movie theater chains, even the bigger ones, to completely go out of business. So once this is all said and done, movie theaters might be a thing of the past.
And another decision that AMC has made is to ban all Universal movies. And the reason because of that is with Trolls World Tour, which was the first major release to skip theaters, that was rented out 5 million times at $20 for a 48-hour rental. They were able to make $100 million with $77 million in profit, and that is with the studio keeping 80% in rentals, but only 50% for the movie theaters. And the Universal CEO says that this will be part of the business model going forward.
As we can see, it's not only the movie theaters that are struggling, but also the movie producers. Universal still has a lot of costs due to their parks not being open and no one being able to watch their movies in theaters as well. So they're trying to recoup some of those costs by switching to an online rental setup. And the interesting part about this is they pretty well did not think this would work near as well as it did. And now that it has, I think they're going to be much more inclined to do this more going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Even without the coronavirus stuff, though, I do think that movie theaters as a whole are going to be on the way out. As an interesting statistic, back in 2002, they sold around 1.57 billion tickets per year. That was pretty much their peak. Now in 2019, we've seen it drop to 1.23 billion ticket sales per year. And I think a lot of what is affecting this is the rise in streaming platforms. To pick one out in specific would be Netflix. In 2011, Netflix had 21.5 million users. However, in 2020, Netflix now has 182.8 million users, which is almost 10 times as many users than they did a decade ago. And that's also not including any of the new streaming services that have come on the scene since then. Looking at Disney Plus, YouTube now streams movies, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and many other cable networks are now switching over to streaming their content individually. So the movie theaters have been pretty much under attack from all sides. It just looks like the coronavirus might be the thing to fast forward a bit and really bankrupt a lot of theaters and push their competition even stronger right now.
So, Lindsay, do you think that this was inevitable?
I do think this is inevitable. Like I said, I think the coronavirus has just helped speed up the process. I don't think that we're going to see all movie theaters go away, but I do think we're going to see a shift from movie theaters being on every block to we're going to start seeing a lot more luxury style theaters, and it'll be more of a novelty thing. So maybe 10 or 20 years from now, instead of just being like, oh, I'm just going to go out and see the movies, It'll be a much more luxury style thing. I mean, we've been seeing movies try and adapt to this for a while with, some theaters starting to add in like, dinner in a movie where you can, eat food in the movie theater and have a lot nicer food, have, reclining chairs, the super Dolby surround sound audios and the IMAX incredible screens and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, I think a lot more people are more willing to stay at home and have much more access to streaming content than ever before. Because now, you can go out and get a big screen TV and a sound system for cheaper than ever, and they're of much higher quality than ever before, too. So instead of going out and spending, $15 or $20 on a ticket, and you got to think if you're going on a date or taking your kids out to see the movie, that's $15 or $20 per person, and that doesn't include food. And movie theater food is always incredibly expensive, so you could easily be looking at like $50 to $100 depending on what you're doing for just one night out at the movies versus staying at home and renting the movie for $10 or $20, and that's all your cost. And you also can pause the movie at any time as well, which you cannot do in a movie theater.
Yeah, that is true. And if your kid is crying in the middle of a theater, it's different from if they're crying at home. And you can just take care of it.
Yeah, because, I mean, in the movie theater, you might have to get up and walk out, and then you spent all that money, and you can't even finish the movie. Whereas if you're at home, you just sit back and enjoy the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Do you think that this is going to have a rise in drive-in movie theaters?
I don't know if it'll affect the amount of drive-in theaters or not.
Yeah.
I do think drive-in theaters, as they are right now, is kind of a bit of a novelty. If anything, I think how we look at drive-in theaters now, where, there's still maybe one per state or something where you can go and watch a drive-in theater, I think the next generation of people growing up will look at that for regular theaters, where most everybody watches things at home. And, if you really want to go relive the old days or have a nice night out, you go to the actual movie theater.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the future we're looking at. I just think as the technology has improved so much, especially with streaming technology, the ability to stream a movie to your house and watch it in high definition with high quality audio, I mean, that wasn't even possible, 20 years ago. Now that it's here, we've just all been used to going to the movies. And with the advent of COVID, I think it's really changed up how people live their daily lives. So I think this is probably going to push it to where now people are used to streaming stuff at home because they can't go to the theater. And as movie studios see how much money they can make by just streaming it and not putting it in theaters, I think this has pretty well put the nail in the coffin for movie theaters as a whole.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, I think that's about all we got for this one. Tell us what you think about this issue in the comments below. And until next time, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.